Welcome to These Are the Blades of Our Lives, the figure skating show where I talk to you about figure skating like it is drama for our mamas. So I'm a little under the weather today, guys, so I may have to blow my nose or sneeze a little, but I definitely wanted to get into the swing of things as the season is starting. I'm watching Junior Grand Prix, and I'm also starting to see everything that's going on Twitter. So I wanted to give you guys like a recap on everything that's going on in figure skating and all of the events that I've watched so far. So I saw Quebec Summer Championship, Chinese Interclub League competition, the Asian Open, Skate Ontario, the Kanishita Summer Cup, and Cranberry. Um, the skating that I saw, I would say, is in line with my expectation. The skaters are still finding their ways, they're getting used to their programs, they're gaining back their jumps. Everything is a little tentative, slow, a little cautious, which is to be expected so early in the season. Before talking about the actual competitions that I saw, I do want to just do a quick recap of everything that is going on in figure skating Twitter because figure skating Twitter just won't stop. Starting off with some great news, Vladimir Kolesny has received his U.S. citizenship, which means that Vladimir Kolesnik and Amelia Zengras are now eligible for the U.S. Ice Dance Olympic team. It is still going to be a bloody uphill battle to get that spot, but at least now his immigration is no longer a factor. Very happy to hear that. We also had Cutie Pie's Hannah, Lynn, and Ye Kwan. So Hannah asked Tessa Virtue, how do you make your movements so big, clear, and mature? To which Tessa Virtue replied, I always performed for Scott, never for the judges or the audience, but always for my partner. Come on, Tessa. I finally moved on from that ship. Why do you want to drag me back into these muddy waters? Stop teasing us, Tessa. Also, Safe Sport is trying to save their face with a safe space campaign, showing several skaters stating what safe sports mean to them and so forth and so on. Some of the skaters featured in this campaign are, of course, from IM because they have so many skaters. Well, skating Twitter had a lot to say about it. A lot to say about it. So maybe next time, Safe Sport, choose some better spokesperson, I guess. As we all know, Guillaume Cizeron and Laurence Fournier-Dubry are coming back as a new pair. And as such, they decided to share their vision board for the season with us. They made the following announcement. We are thrilled to kick off our competitive season soon. Here's a glimpse of our schedule for the first half of the season. So that list consists of the French Masters, NHK Trophy, Grand Prix de France, Grand Prix de Finland. They wrote fingers crossed for the Grand Prix final, French nationals, and European championships. So they said, we hope to see you at these events and we can't wait to share our new programs with everyone. Skating Twitter lost their mind and went off to the point where literally Guillaume and Laurence have been dubbed the Disney villains of ice dance. My take, I do understand the criticism from the fans. There are a lot of factors and baggage that comes along with this pair. Having said that, I do try to be neutral as much as possible in skating. I don't always achieve that, but I try. I think as elites, athletes in any discipline, you have to have a level of confidence to be able to step onto a competitive stage. I also believe in having goals and speaking these goals into existence. So with that, I do understand why Guillaume and Lawrence are putting these things out there. For right now, my personal take, and I'm not saying it's a right take or the wrong take, I just want to wait and see the skating. I want to see the programs. I want to actually see the skatings before I can fully delve into an opinion. Um, I saw a tweet on I saw this tweet on Twitter that made me very sad. So the tweet said Evgenia is 25. You want to know who else is 25? Kaori and Amber. She could have had a much longer career if she didn't have to go back to E30. So what should she be thinking for ruining these young girls' chance of longevity in the sport they love? I agree. I wondered what a 25-year-old competing Evgenia would look like. I also wonder what Yulia would look like. I wonder what a lot of these skaters would look like. And you guys know how much I support longevity in this sport. So this tweet made me really sad. We also have some dramatic split news. Elizabeth Tachchenkov and Alexei Kilikov announced their retirement from competitive ice dance. They just competed at Lake Placid and they finished sixth. And I am like, what could have happened to lead to a pair going from competing at an event to announcing their retirement? There is some juiciness there, and I, the nosy Betty that I am, would love to know what it is. We also have updates from Shoma Uno regarding his skating show. So Shoma said, as a single skater, you can skate and spin on your own. But the moment you add a partner, everything becomes incredibly difficult. So we're not going to get a pair. You're not going to transition into pair, Shoma? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Oh no, come on, Shoma. We could do this. You could be a pair skater. Or at least ice dance? A little ice dance pair partnership there? I'm going to keep that hope alive. We also now know that Yuka Orihara and Yuno Pernanem will not be able to take part in the Olympic, as Yuka will not be able to get her citizenship in time. Finland's second spot will not be used and will become available to another country. No! You know how much I love this pair. My heart is broken. Why citizenship be so hard sometimes? And then the bad news continued with Olivia Ellen and Dylan Kane. They're going to miss the 2025-2026 season due to Olivia suffering with a serious hip injury. She will be having surgery and focusing on recovery for the next season. This is sad. I really like this young junior team. But this again goes to show us how difficult this sport is and how injury prone everything really is. But now for some good news. Kristen Mortower and Liam Ferris posted that they are expecting a new baby boy who will arrive in January 2026. Oh, I love good news. We also saw Rika Watanabe post a video of her practicing the quad sao. While this is amazing, I still agree with Skating Twitter that we should focus on consistency this season and work on the quad sao and the triple axel next season. I just think it's a better move. We heard news that Ellie Khan and Danny O'Shea have withdrawn from the John Nix pair challenge. I hope this is just for more time for them to prepare for their major event and that nothing serious is going on. I know Danny struggled with injury last season, and I just want them to be injury free and be able to compete with joy this season. We Twitter also lost their mind when we heard that Keegan Messing is returning to compete for the 2025-2026 Olympic season. So regarding this return, Keegan stated, doing the Stars on Ice tour, I realized I was skating at a high level again, and that sparked my decision to return. So that's how he announced his comeback. When I saw this comeback announcement, I didn't really have an opinion. However, I saw so much traffic that I decided to see what was going on. I was really surprised to read some of the comments about there being an allegation of sexual assault against Keegan Messing. Honestly, I had no idea. I literally had never heard of this. I looked into it and it seemed like there was a report filed with Safe Sport and the case is under investigation. The victim never outright named Keegan in her post. However, based on the information provided, most people assume that the case is about Keegan. This is so heartbreaking because there is just so much abuse in the sport of figure skating. We need a mass uprooting of the sport in order to prevent further cases from taking place. More support is needed to be given to victims, and we need to create more platforms and safer spaces for them to speak out and to seek justice. With regard to Keegan and his comeback as it relates to this case, I don't have the information to really speak on it. From the information that I got online, Keegan was never identified as the assaulter on this case, and no charges were brought against him as to date. From the information available, it appears that it's just an assumption that people are making based on the information provided that Keegan is who is being spoken of in regards to this case. But we don't have any confirmation, so I don't really have anything to say about it. However, when it comes to skaters coming back in the Olympic year, I have a lot to say. Listen, if we were living in a fair world, I would say it makes more sense for the skater to come back the season before the Olympic. This way they could really build up to being a part of the Olympic. If you want a perfect example of this, take Alyssa Liu. Came back before the Olympic, is building her foundation. Now she's going into the Olympic. Perfectly fine. Or we can take Tessa Virtue and Scott Moyer. They came back the year before the Olympic, build a solid foundation, and went to the Olympic. However, I do believe that each nation has the right to send the best athlete to the Olympic, at least who they believe is the best athlete to the Olympic. While the anger and resentment are understandable, the spot for the Olympic should be won in the competitive arena. While it would be great for our favorite who have struggled for years and earned the Olympic spot to be the one to go to the Olympic, the reality is that figure skating is a sport and you have to win to stand on top of the podium. So at the end of the day, what needs to happen, and the only thing that could happen, is that all of these competitors have to compete and the best one has to be given the spot. It's not fair, but this is the reality of sport. I want to end this segment on great skating news. Great skating news to come out this season, at least in my opinion. This is great skating news. Lila Fair and Lewis Gibson will have a Spice Girl theme rhythm dance. Guys, you don't know how sick I am, because if I was not sick, I would be anyhow. So I'm sick, so this is me moderate. Yes, this is what I wanted. I love this team for their passion for gimmicks. This is playing to your strength and maximizing your potential. Was this the obvious choice for the British team to compete to the biggest British girl group of the 90s? Yes, it was. But I don't see what's wrong with going for the obvious. Sometimes the obvious is the right choice. Please, 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 skating deities, please don't mess this one up. Please choreograph the most tacky, the most fun, the most bombastic 90s Spice Girl program you can think of. Do not try to downplay this. Do not try to sedate it. It needs to be bold. It needs to be 90s. It needs to be sparkly. It needs to be gimmicky. Give it to me. I am here for it. Now I'm going to